Coming to a YouTube channel near you.
Hello, and welcome to No Coincidences podcast. I'm Cristina, all witchy, and I want to thank you for joining me this afternoon. How is our family doing today? I see we've got a lot of faces in here. Just want to go ahead and give a couple of shout outs. I see we've got Amy. Hi, I'm so glad to see you in another one of my shows. Looks like we've got Lulu. Hello, Lulu. John, oh my goodness, I appreciate you for coming and seeing me so much. You are awesome. Thank you for being here. Little Twisted, of course. Hello, how are you, girl? You're here at every show. I love your dedication to the Outlaw family. You are the Outlaw family, girl. Looks like we've got Lori. Oh, hello, Barb. I haven't seen you in such a long time. I'm just so happy to see everybody here. Hello, Roger. It's good to see you again. Before we get started and get to hang out with the extraordinary Ron Morehead, I want to go ahead and just let you know about our sponsor for this afternoon's show. We have Texas Beard Company. If you want to get your man's beard looking fresh and clean, go ahead and get you some of this oil or balm to make him smell good, look good. You know, this is what Grizzly uses. So get him looking like a grizzly.
That is correct. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome everybody to another edition. Settle in, relax, and enjoy the show that's about to unfold. So, Cristina, take it away.
Little Twisted, we love you too. I see your comment over there, girl. Hey, Lorna. Oh my goodness, I love seeing the family come in here like this. So we have an extraordinary guest tonight, and everybody knows him. He's a legend in this community. I want to welcome Ron Morehead to our show. How are you doing, sir?
Well, thank you very much, Cristina. I really appreciate that, and I'm just honored to be with you tonight.
Oh, we're honored to have you here.
We'll have some fun.
Yes, for sure. I will tell you honestly, Grizzly hates when I go, but I'm a fun girl. So get ready, because I love to laugh and have a good time. I'm going to jump right in because I have about 1 million questions and I only have an hour because the boss down here, you know, he times us. So I want to know what got you into hunting Bigfoot.
Well, I don't really hunt them. I was part of a group in the Sierra Mountains of California in the 1970s early. Actually started 71 when I was 29. And these guys that I knew as friends were having these beings come in and rock us around the camp and at night and making these strange sounds. So anyway, one of the guys got scared so bad he wouldn't go back, but he came out and he said, whatever the Johnson brothers were talking about up there in the Sierras, there is a monster up there, and they were telling the truth. And he said he was just shaking. And so anyway, he left the next morning as soon as he could get out of there. And they said, we got to go back and see what's going on with them. They didn't know if they got eaten or what, because they didn't know what they was doing up there. I mean, with whatever this was, they just knew it was loud and rowdy, and so anyway, he said, I'm not going back by myself. So he got me to go with him. And I was glad to do it because they were all my friends too. So that's how I got involved. That was 1971. I seen my first print and heard sounds that they had recorded the night before. So it was quite interesting. That's what got me into it. And I've been on a quest for the rest of my life to get to the bottom of some of this, because a lot of mysteries up there. After I started going in a lot, every time I get somebody to go with me, I'd go.
Right.
So I've had quite a trips up there.
That's awesome that it happens that way for you. You know, I think that's a lot of life experiences for us. Someone that we know has something happen and they introduce us and we end up on our life journey, right? Can I ask you to please describe for us? Can I ask you to describe for us what Bigfoot is for the audience that's used to watching? I normally do spirituality, so I'm so honored to have you here, but I would like to know if you could tell us what Bigfoot is.
Well, we'll get into that in a little while. I think you'll like it. because it's what led me. Bigfoot's what led me into where I am now, which is I'm trying to understand them and quite understand. Yeah, I think I've determined in my last book that they have to have a human component. We got a Dr. Curlin from the University of Wyoming who studied the sounds so that they were not manipulated, they had not been speeded up, slowed down, anything like that. And had a cryptolinguist in the Navy, trained as a person two-time graduate of the Foreign Language Institute. And he said that they have a language by the human definition language after he listened to our sounds. And then so you got Dr. Curlin also said they represented an entity 8 foot tall compared to the human vocal mechanism. So you put that together with Dr. Philip Lieberman at Brown University, and he says only humans have the vocal mechanism for a language. These things have language. So,
Right.
was that for me?
I know Grizzly sent
Anyway,
me
I
the
didn't answer
Sierra
your question.
sound. Oh no,
Yeah, we
I
got a
was
little
gonna.
delay
I was
there.
just
Sorry about that, you all.
right. I was just gonna say, Grizzly had me listen to the
Yeah.
Sierra sounds, and I
That's
was
was
amazed.
recorded.
Yeah. So, if you want, I'm sorry I interrupted. If
Well,
you want to
unique,
finish
that's for
answering the
sure. Didn't know
question.
how unique they would be. And restate the question.
Now, Ron, some reason we got a delay, Mr. Morehead. I don't know if it's on my end, so I apologize about that.
It's all right. We're gonna work through it, and we're gonna
I
get
see a
it.
delay on both you guys too. A little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Ron.
Well, if we can,
Anyway.
I know that there are
Well, it's still fun.
sightings, widespread. And can you tell me where is the most common place to sight Bigfoot?
I don't know if he froze up, ladies and gentlemen, or is that on our end?
I don't. I'm hearing you very clearly, Grizzly. I think it's just a little bit of a delay.
Well, Christina, I missed what the last thing you said. It just went out on me.
Oh, okay. No, I was just saying that
Something about where something.
I know that Bigfoot sightings are widespread. They're all over the country. Can you tell me where would be like the most common place to sight a Bigfoot?
Oh, wherever they want to be at the time you're there, I guess. Pacific Northwest, probably the Olympic Peninsula, where the big concentration of them seem to be. It's pretty dense there. I lived there for a while, like for years, before I moved out to North Carolina, where I live now. Get out here and everybody sees a dog man, another element there. But anyway, I think the whole Bigfoot quest and why they encounter me and why I'm here today with you guys is to brought me to another circle of what this is all about. So we can get into that a little bit when we get to it. But it's a lot of very, very interesting. Who is humans and who are they? They got a human component. And who was here first, them or us? And are they all the same? No, they're not all the same. And I've been all over the world researching this stuff. And the reports I get from other countries are just not like what we got here. And there may be a common denominator somewhere with them, but actually, I think there's more than that. I think there's just different, maybe possibly different genomes. Because I get into aliens because I think my studies take me way back into the Mesopotamian times and cuneiform text and all that. And you get into the Anunnaki and you get into what was really done back there and how I was raised religiously. So it all connects with the Bible to me because I was very still, I think I was anyway. And so how it relates to that is pretty unique, other than the Bible says a couple things in 2 or 3 chapters where cuneiform text, which is over 10,000 of them, the oldest known written language known to us. And it says it lasted over hundreds of thousands of years. So really, time goes by when you're having fun, I guess. However, okay, you got it, dude. Well, who we are as humans and why we're here. And they were here, I think, a long time before Homo sapiens. And I think that because I believe aliens have visited this planet and they have messed with the genome of different species on this planet. And they have hybridized so many things here. And we are one of them.
I concur.
So something made us. Yeah. So what I think they made them first, and some of them have probably evolved a lot further than we have as Homo sapiens. We have a lot further to go to really reach what we were made to be like. And Christ tried to tell us that. You know, he said, you can be everything I am if you just learn how to become one with the Father. You know, so these things have become one with nature. They know what's, I think. And I think a lot of them over the eons of time have crossbred with indigenous people. So some of them became more human-like than others. And I really believe that. So you take the Patterson track, which most everybody's familiar with. It's really shaped like a human foot. Whereas the tracks we had up there were more splayed. They were less human-like, but they were human. They had 5 toes, huge tracks, and but they hard to tell right foot from a left foot sometimes. One foot in front of the other, and very little arch to them. But there is arch, just very small. So I think whatever we're dealing with there is pretty unique, and we have yet to identify it. But what they are, I think, are hybrids, like we are. Something made them. I don't believe evolution. That's the whole story. Darwin did the best he could in the times he was dealing with, but he's left out a lot of stuff, or a lot of stuff's been left out, because I think the aliens probably took a troglodyte, a caveman, and manipulated him into what would be called now a Bigfoot, I guess. Or actually, at that time, they called him, well, all kinds of things. Future questions. I'll just ramble on if you don't have something.
Oh no, I love
this.
being the person learning. I am a fountain of knowledge myself, but I love learning from all of y'all. And Grizzly has given me the opportunity to interview a couple of people who are very prominent in the Bigfoot community. And one of the things I noticed that all of you kind of have hit on with me is the fact of where did Bigfoot actually come from? And like, what is he? We're still trying to figure that out. And I know I've heard others say that they thought that Bigfoot is interdimensional and that they can kind of transport. How do you feel about that theory?
I think some of them can, and some of them have learned how to manipulate their energy or their matter into energy. That's been proven to be done. Actually, Dr. Paul Dirac got the Nobel Prize for antimatter in 1933, and that's the direct exchange from matter to energy and energy to matter. So it can be done if you find the right frequency, because everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. We, at the most minute level, are energy vibrating at a frequency. You find the frequency of anything, and you can change its matter. And that's Einstein's quote also. He says, so it's just a way of trying to figure out how to do it. I think that's how a lot of miracles, from biblical miracles and things like that, were done, is just through frequency. Everything is done through frequency, I think.
Exactly.
And these things, through the vocal mechanism, have learned how to create a frequency that could change their matter into energy. That would also get an answer to the trackways disappearing, like a lot of people have had happen to them. And I've had it happen to me where you couldn't find the next track. My daughter had a sighting. We followed the trackway very deep. We couldn't make a track bipedal. And all of a sudden it just stopped. And we could not find where it went. Didn't jump in a tree, didn't jump to a boulder, didn't jump in the weeds. It just disappeared, just stopped. That would change, because if they change their matter into energy, their density would change. They wouldn't leave a track any longer. You can't see energy. Most people can't. It's out of our frequency. Our light's frequency between 430 and 770 terahertz. All we see, that's light's frequency. And that's what we live in a third density environment. So with all these other frequencies are out there, all these other densities are out there that we just don't see with our eyes. We just don't have that ability. So you have to learn how to connect with your pineal gland inside your head to see that's the third eye, according to the Egyptians.
Right.
A lot of people think it's the seat of the soul. That's how you learn how to sense what's going on. That's where it comes from. And your a lot of things come from that. But you got to learn to listen to it because it directs you down to the heart. Your heart has a brain. Your brain just has to communicate with the thing sitting on your shoulders, which is your heart has to communicate with the thing sitting on your shoulders, which has been conditioned,
Right.
by the way, conditioned by your environment, by, your mom, dad said, oh, you got to believe in this religion. You can't believe in that one, you're going to go to hell. Or you got to believe
Right.
in this here. You speak this language, you don't speak this one. This is right, this is wrong. Your brain has been set like that. Essentially, too many academias are biased in what they're looking for. They're looking for the ape in the woods. And I got to say that maybe some of them are just that way. They've just evolved up through the eons. But I don't think they're all that way. I'm quite sure they're not, in my own belief. But it gets into the ethereal part of who we are as humans, too. We're in our embodiment, we have there's two elements to our embodiment: our physical, biological body. There's also the spiritual part, the ethereal part, which cannot die according to physics. And this is all quantum physics, because that's what got me into Al Berry, the investigative reporter we took up to the camp. He has a master's degree in science. He said, why do you ever do stay with science? Don't talk about this crazy stuff that goes on up here. There was a lot of crazy stuff going on up there. I mean, it's based on everything being material, physical, measurable, predictable. And quantum physics is not that way, yet it is an accepted science from all over the world. And any physicist will say, well, when you die, you're just going to change forms. And that's what religions say too. You're going to get out of this body and go somewhere else.
And that's actually leading into the next question that I had for you. I was going to ask, how do you feel that quantum physics and quantum mechanics, they lead into Bigfoot? How do you feel about that?
Well, because everything does, according to Dr. Christopher Barrera at West Texas A&M, everything from the atom throughout the cosmos works in accordance with quantum physics. And what we do is we have to understand that quantum physics rides on the back of Newtonian physics, which is our three-dimensional environment, and we have to learn how to get out of our fixed box up here and learn there's more going on, and that's quantum physics, because you don't see it. It's all established by mathematics, and if you establish it by mathematics, it has to be disproven by mathematics, and some things just has not been disproven. There's Rice comes in, and Dr. Max Planck in 1918 got the Nobel Prize for quantum mechanics. And quantum physics is a subset of quantum mechanics. So, again.
Can you tell me if, or I don't know if you have, but have you ever changed your mind about the creatures, the Bigfoots? And
oh yeah,
in your
when we
time
ran
of
into
researching?
yeah, well, when we ran into them up at our camp, 8,400 feet, 8 miles in the wilderness, by the way, nobody else around. We thought they were just an ape that hadn't been identified, and we were looking for the ape in the woods. We had tried to trick them. We tried to do all kinds of things there that we were underestimating their intuitiveness, underestimating what they really are. And what they really are is something very, very, very special. And they can cloak out of our sight through what I mentioned a minute ago by changing the frequency. Some of them, I'm not sure they can all do that, because if they've crossbred and inbred with indigenous people over the eons of time, some of them may have had those attributes recessed in them, and they don't do that so much anymore. But you're seeing them more and more and more, and there's just more and more of them coming out and being and exposing themselves. So anyway, yeah, quantum physics is answer to, well, it's not the woo, it's paranormal. And what it is it's the science that will answer a lot of the paranormal and misunderstood stuff that we don't know about. There's a lot of things we don't know about. I usually try to ask people how many people out there know everything there is to know. Well, we don't know everything there is to know. However, everything there is to know is inside of us if we could just pull it out. You pull it out by becoming one with the ultimate oneness. Okay, I'll slow down a little bit and get some questions in there.
Oh no, I love
about
this.
Those, so I talk fast.
You're starting to talk in my language a little bit, so I love it, because that's what I teach people about all the time, about becoming one with yourself, so that you can not only align yourself with within yourself, but with source and with the universe. And when you do that, you're able to open your mind and your heart to so much more that you've already experienced in past lives and things like that. But my next question for you, how do you balance your writing with doing everything else that you do in life?
Well, that's about all I do is podcasts now and writing. And I've been doing quite a few conventions. I got one more this weekend. Then I'm going to balance out a little bit. I think I'm getting tired of it. I'd rather do this stuff like this to people on podcasts like this.
Right.
I got a whole PowerPoint program that I'll be up in Mount Vernon, Illinois this weekend on the 7th. And
so you stay busy with the conventions as well.
Out there.
Is there a particular part of the book or a character in the book?
It's important that we are balanced within ourselves, that we balance that's what chakras are all about, balancing your
it's cutting out again, I think.
Not hearing you.
Oh, no. Okay, there we go. I think it was just cutting out a little bit, and I think you and I kind of overlapped again. But if you will, please continue. I heard something about chakras, and I would love to hear your opinion about that part of it.
Well, we have chakras, you know that. I mean, everybody knows we do. It's a balancing of your system. There's 7 major chakras, but there's about 12 altogether. But you have your lower chakra and you have your heart chakra. And I want to get into that because it goes all the way up to your 7th chakra.
Right, your crown chakra.
I think you got to learn to balance those chakras so your body is in balance. Yes, so your body's in balance, and that way you can receive from the universe, the oneness that's out there that I heard you mention earlier. That knows everything, it guides you into what's right for you. It connects then to your heart. Your heart has a brain, which most people don't, but it does. But that brain, again, has to be in coherence with this thing sitting on your shoulder.
Right.
And that's most people, the heart will tell you to do something. It's all a gut feeling. The heart will tell you to go to the right, where your brain says, no, go to the left over there because so-and-so, they need help or something. Go to the right. Well, you need to go to the right because you need to learn how to obey your heart. That'll lead you in everything that's right. As long as it's in coherence with your brain. Because your brain's going to make the decision.
Right. That's why I actually tell people that when they're doing their meditation, you want to do a meditation to get your crown and your heart chakra aligned with each other, because when they are one, you're able to be more centered. So you're just confirming what I'm already teaching.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people are getting into it now because of you and possibly me. Yeah, because it's important we balance ourselves out so we can receive from the oneness. We're all going to be part of it someday. If you don't learn everything you got to learn in this 3D dimension lifetime, in other words, you got to learn to treat it with love and compassion through every circumstance. Don't be a victim of anything, because you're here to learn. That's all we're here for, to learn. And to learn how to respond to the experiences, because if you don't respond with love and compassion, you're going to have to. You can't hurt somebody or hate somebody and still get out of this 3rd dimension, because that's what this is all doing. To reincarnate, we just call it like it is, re-embodiment, multiple embodiments. Because your spirit, the consciousness I'm talking about, can't die, so it has to do something. It has to come back and learn. So we just got to learn, and we can all elevate our personal frequency so we can learn. And you do that by doing good things and responding to good things, and don't hold grudges. So that's what I think.
You and I are so aligned on that topic. I personally tell people, we're here. This earth is a school of the emotions, right? This is where we're supposed to come to learn how Source loves us. And if we can show unconditional love and kindness and compassion to every person in the world, and through all of our hurts and hangups, that's how we graduate from the school to move on to the next one. So I love that, like, you're just giving me
Absolutely.
confirmation of like what I'm teaching is what other people are aligning with as well.
Good.
So
Well,
thank you
good,
for that.
because that's what well, I'm glad to hear somebody else thinks they too. A lot of people are, though. They're realizing there's more to it than what you see with your eyes. And we just have to learn that there's more going on, and we're going to be part of it. We're supposed to be part of it. We're designed to be part of it. We're designed to be ninth dimensional beings, in my opinion. And we're
Right.
in the ninth frequency. And we're going to leave here, go through the fourth, and get into the fifth and sixth. I think the fifth and sixth density is where a lot of aliens hang out. And you can't see those densities with these eyes, but you can sense them. And that's what happens to a lot of people. And I think some Bigfoots are able to get out of their physical body and into just energy only, and they can influence you because they can hook into your frequency. And that's where a lot of people are led by things. They say they got a guide, a Bigfoot guide, and they have to learn to listen to it. It's trying to help you. They can't interfere. They can't make the decisions for us. That's why we're here, to make those right decisions and graduate. I think we're that's what I think. Well, that's my last book. It talks about the Tesla's manifestation code. If you knew, from here we go to the sixth, and that's where you learn to create, learn how to do things. But we're scheduled for the ninth. So I also get into that's where we're supposed to go. That's what we're made to be like. And that's the Anunnaki. That's what they were when they got here, the shiny beings from the sky. And that's also the fallen ones from the Bible, if you really want to get into it. So it's all kind of fits together for me. And I try to make that happen and bringing science and spirituality together, because what one man calls God, another one calls the laws of physics. That's Tesla.
Right. Getting
Then
back to you talked about your books. Can you tell us about your books and why you write each one of them?
Well, yeah. My first one was my chronicle, and it talks about how I got involved in this. It was Al Berry, the investigative reporter. He encouraged me to write it, so I did. And this is it right here. Showing backwards or frontwards? Showing backwards, isn't it?
No, we can read it. It's good. It just shows backwards for you.
Oh, okay.
It's the way the system is set up.
That comes with a download of sound. So when I get to the context of the sound I'm talking about, it's my chronicle, going up there for so many years and doing what I was doing. My 40-year chronicle. I've been doing it now for 50 years, over 50 years.
Yeah.
And there's a link in the back of it. You tap into that link, and you can hear the sound I'm talking about. And I explain what's going on when that happened. And my book, which I sold a lot of them. Here? Pardon me. Is this Quantum Bigfoot? And that gets into the ethereal part of them. It gets into the would-be paranormal, would-be woo-woo. They used to call me woo-wooer, but no. Paranormal woo-woo is not quantum physics. Quantum physics is a known science, and it's accepted by physicists all over the world. But my latest book, which rides on the tail of that quantum book, is this one right here. And it gets into the how they disappear, the science behind how they disappear. And I try to stay with science as much as I can. Forward was written by David Pilates. He's a friend of mine, and he offered to do that. So I appreciate that. And it gets into AI too, artificial intelligence, which we've got to be on the guard for.
Right.
It's scary. Very scary.
Yes, I agree. I'm not a fan of AI too much, but I know that we have to evolve with society, right? So I'm having to learn to use it.
Well, to a certain level, yeah. Until they try to transfer your consciousness into an AI body.
Yeah, we're not doing that. I'm gonna say
AI, Ron Morehead, is very scary. And it's so integrated in society and our world right now, whether it's movies, books, voiceovers, whatever. And these movie stars that are passing on are uploading their subconscious into AI so they can be reproduced in movies, books, and other platforms.
That's insane.
Well, they're working at it, I think. But nothing wrong with getting a heart transplant or having an artificial arm or something like that. But when they start taking your consciousness and put it into an AI body, that's a little.
That's trying to play God.
We're not like we're not like our creator, and we're made to be physical.
Right.
We're made to be different. We're very special people, and most people don't realize how special humanoids are on this planet, but we are special. So we have to understand this so we can elevate ourselves out of this mess that's going to happen. This earth is in trouble. And I just hope, talking like you're talking, like I'm talking, like others are talking now, that some people will wake up to it, because there's just more going on than what you see.
Exactly.
And, in our senses, our olfactory sense, what we can smell. A bear is 20 times more than we are. A dog is 10 times more than we are. You don't hear ultrasound or infrasound, but they're there. And those other senses are there. But we are limited with what we got until we learn how to open up and to become one with the oneness that's out there. The universe, I guess you want to call it, or God.
I always just say the Most High when I'm doing lives or podcasts or anything like that, because I feel like saying the Most High gets to everybody, right? That doesn't matter what your belief is.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. I might start using that one.
I don't mind at all. It is not trademarked or copyrighted.
Well, all right, then. That does it.
When we're talking about spirituality and Bigfoot, do you think that Bigfoot uses telepathy to communicate?
I'm only getting half of what you're saying.
Oh, I apologize. I'm so sorry that we're having all these issues today. When it comes to Bigfoot, do you think that Bigfoot might use telepathy to communicate with us?
Well, I think we can do that too. A lot of people have that ability. We just haven't learned how to cultivate it yet so much. Some people have. And yeah, they can. They can do that if they find the frequency. Because again, everything frequency. You get on the right frequency, and they can brain talk to you. People ask me if I've ever had that mind talk to me, and I said, not that I know of. But what I did have is when they were talking to me up there or saying something, I was trying to mimic them. And maybe it's because, according to cryptolinguist, he says they slowed their down to something they thought you might be able to communicate with, because he says the same vocal mechanism did those when they were trying to get with me. And I was at the time, I was underestimating them still. I was just having fun with it, and I was mimicking them really when they were trying to ask me something. And you can see
no, you wasn't. You were poking the bear. You were instigating them, and I told you on the last show I would have died. I mean, he was sitting there going, yeah. I'm like, what's wrong with you, Ron? You're crazy, man. But yes, and when I was,
well, I have yet to know what they were saying.
Yeah. Mm. But you tell people not to play what you recorded, though.
Well, the aggressive sounds, I tell them not to. I didn't suggest they play them at all. I had a guy say he was playing and he got charged one time. They won't ever hurt you. Well, I say they won't. I think some of them can be different with different agendas. So I caution people to keep your flag up and just understand what they could be and what they might be. Like when I was in Portlock, Alaska a couple of years ago with the Discovery Channel, these guys wanted to re-habituate their village well in the middle of nowhere. And they helicoptered me in there. Quite interesting. I stayed there a few days, but they wanted me to tell them if it was I can re-habituate their village, which they had to abandon in the late 40s because of so many people getting mangled and beat up. And one day they kept seeing this Bigfoot-like creature, but it was like 50 feet tall. And when I flew over it, I realized what I thought anyway, because if you don't respect property and respect what you got, like they were over timbering it. I mean, a lot of timbering went on there years and years ago. They were also mining it, and from pictures I saw, they were overfishing it. I mean, they just got gobs of fish, so they want to rehabituate it and do it again. They wanted me to tell them if it was safe. No pressure there. Pressure over there. Sure, so there's two or three of you come back in here without the camera crew, and stay 3 or 4 days. If you don't come back, it's probably not safe. And if you do come back, well, maybe you'll get some experience. Because they got something going on up there, though. I got to tell you, it's a place. Alaska is a good wilderness.
That's crazy. I would think that they wouldn't want to be up there because, it's cold and the Yetis and, like I thought I might want to stay down here in the lower part of the United States.
Well, it's nice up there in the summer. It's really nice. I mean, I've flown all over Alaska in my plane, and it's just a beautiful area, wilderness. I mean, I flew over thousands of caribou in a herd. And I mean, it's just like the mountain was rolling. They were all moving.
Yeah.
And I actually chased a grizzly bear one time in that plane, too.
I was about to say, I thought you were going to chase a grizzly bear on foot. I'm like, I am not going out with you and Daryl. Forget that.
That's what I was thinking, too.
Anyway, that's something.
So, do you think that Bigfoot knows our intentions? Oh. Can you still hear us, Ron?
I'm not catching what you're saying.
Okay. I'm so sorry about the technological issues going on right now.
I can see you now.
Do you think that Bigfoot knows our intentions?
Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Hello.
We are. Yeah, we're hearing you.
Yes. We hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear us? There you are.
Well, there he went, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if Mr. Morehead will connect. I do apologize for the technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like it's not on our end. We'll see if he comes back. It's unusual that we have connection problems. Hello, Curtis. Welcome to the show. Hello, Lorna. Hello, yes. Pastor Frudovitic. That is that's a heck of a name there. Mr. Decker, nice to see you. Prospecting USA, welcome. Long time no see. We'll see if he signs right back in, ladies and gentlemen. We'll bring him up. But if not, we do have his information on Amazon. Check out his books. Also go to ronmorehead.com and check out all the stuff that is listed on his website and a little bit of history. But there's magazines, books, and everything out there on Amazon that you can check out. And also looks like you can earn some points. So interesting.
Yes, I have not figured out the Amazon points thing that they started yet, but I know it's with the books. And
so, John, the last time I talked to Ron about his camp in the Pacific Northwest, it has been destroyed, I think, by Fish and Wildlife years ago. So there was nothing left of it. So we can confirm that. Williams, he is a wealth of knowledge. We have everybody's questions in line. So let's see here. I mean, you can come back, kind sir. I'll just send him a message. And maybe when he comes back, he will get a better connection there. But no, it's interesting because Ron Morehead was an ape believer. And that an ape, an unknown primate, lived out in the woods that was undiscovered. And it wasn't about 20 or something years ago that our conversation, he said that this is something more than an ape, a known or unknown primate. And this is where Morehead took a direction outside of the norm and start looking at spirituality, vibrations, biblical reference, because when you did that, it all started to seem like it was tying in, especially with the new scientific evidence that was coming out, scientific proof about how things work with vibrations and mathematical quantum mechanics and quantum physics. So he actually took a dive into that to learn that. And it's interesting how we vibrate on different planes, right? And
Mhm.
let's see, he just read my message. And I think somebody said in the questions here, something about the military, about cloaking. Yeah, the military came out in 2013 or 2011. They said we can make a goldfish and a rabbit disappear, and they did. And so there he is. All right, welcome back, Mr. Morehead. Let him get signed in here. There you go. Welcome back.
Did we make it?
Yeah, you made it. All right.
Yep, you made it. All right, we're going to try to pick up.
You guys.
Yeah, you just had a bad connection or something, but you look good now. Much better.
So the last question that I had asked was, do you think that Bigfoot knows our intentions? Oh. I hate that we're having connection issues like
If
this.
you're going to ask what I think you're going to ask, is everything's frequency. If they see your energy, they can. I think they see your energy. They know your frequency, and they know what your intentions are. If your aura, which aura is a fact, it's energy that you put out around you, and they can see that. I believe. At least I'm not sure all of them can, because again, some of them have diluted down from crossbreeding with humans.
Right.
Excuse me. But anyway, yes, they can read your energy.
That is
a lot of
awesome.
animals can do that. My horse could do that. They know if you're afraid of them when you go up to them. They know if you're afraid of them or not.
So I'm going to actually go through. We've had quite a few questions from the audience this afternoon. I'm going to just ask the questions that they've asked. The first one says, Ron, did Sasquatch ever say English words to you?
You might find some words that sound English, but you don't know if they mean what they're saying. You don't know if that word means the same as it does to you. And that's what a linguist told me too, because I was in Art Bill 1995, I think it was, and somebody said, well, I hear English in that. And that's what the linguist said, that it might sound like English, but no, I've never heard an English word out of them, to tell you the truth, that I would claim was English.
You're talking about vibrations and frequencies, and I just want to throw this out there. Those of us that vibrate on a higher level tend to be able to understand things that others might not. So I know when Grizzly played the Sierra sounds for me, he was sitting there laughing. He was like, do you hear Ron egging them on? Do you hear him poking them? And I'm like, no, I'm not listening to Ron. I'm listening to what they're saying because I hear the words they're saying. I understood what they were saying. And I was like, do you understand what they're saying right now? He was like, really? I don't know what you're talking about. All I hear is Ron poking the bear right now.
Yeah, stop it, Ron. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I wasn't with you, but Ron like that. And that one.
Well, tell me what they were saying,
like,
then, Cristina.
Yeah, Ron at one point, he's like, well, that's a hard act to follow. And I was like, here he goes, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to top it. Watch.
Ron, I honestly, when I was sitting there listening to it, I was telling Grizz what I was hearing. But I don't remember exactly what it was. I don't know if maybe Grizz can help refresh my memory on some of the stuff that I had said to him that I heard. But it was crazy because I almost felt like they were just speaking. I understood so much that they were saying, and I was just in shock that I was listening to your recording and I was hearing things. I know I had heard one say, I hear you, and I had heard another one say, what are you doing? But the recording is quite long, so I don't remember everything that I had heard. I would love to sit down and actually go through it and try to see if I can transcribe what I'm hearing and send it to you if you would want to see that.
I would love that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I was in shock because he was like, I don't know what you're talking about hearing things. I hear him poking the bear right now.
Ron, she is a psychic medium, so maybe she heard stuff I didn't, but I'll get her to do the same thing the other psychics did and try to relate what they hear and send it to you. It's not a problem, sir. We'll get that done for you.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah. I've been after
Um,
what they were trying to say. I even thought about asking AI, but AI is not advanced far enough, I don't think, to transcribe and to actually interpret a new language. They know languages that have been taught to them.
right. You got to be on that frequency
Anyway,
when you're doing something with something from interdimensional species, though, I mean, that's my belief anyways.
yes.
The next question that we have says Bigfoot has shown to have human DNA. So how would they have became before humans?
Okay, because they were made before humans, for Homo sapiens, in my opinion.
Right.
There,
Our
because aliens manipulated the genome of a troglodyte, and that's
exactly.
and then we were made later on in the image of the ninth dimensional Anunnaki, which is also good Anunnaki. They're not bad, just some of them were that decided to take third density embodiments and live here.
Right. I agree. That's awesome. The next one says, Ron Morehead, have you seen Bigfoot's teeth when they open their mouths to growl? If so, what did they look like?
I did not, but I got a picture of one when a lady that I interviewed from the UK saw one over in Carmel Beach over there in the it's on the Chronicles, Sasquatch Chronicles, episode 515. And I talked to her. She's the son to go down to get a picture. She had no idea that something like Bigfoot even existed. And 5 of them come walking by, a male, 2 females, and 2 adolescents.
Prospecting, I see your
Seaweed
message
and throwing it
and
back
send
to the
it
2
to
females.
Chris.
They were doing something to it. She didn't know what it was. And then she dropped the lens cover off her camera because she said, I got to get a picture of this. No one's going to believe it. Very credible person, by the way. And she fainted because the one that was out in the water heard her drop the lens cover and started screaming at her, coming right towards her real fast. And the female stopped him, but she actually got close enough to see inside its mouth, and when it was growling at her. I mean, that's
I would
scary.
never want to be close enough to see
It
the
scared her.
inside of its
She
mouth.
fainted, and somehow she ended up.
Wow.
Well, she actually saw its tongue. She actually said its neck blew out too when it screamed, like it's got air sacs in its neck.
Yeah, air
Wow.
sacs.
And she said, but she drew me some pictures, and yeah, and that's how they portray their vocalizations so well, so amplified.
The next question that
That's
we
the one
have.
way you can tell their difference.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know we still have a little bit of a lag.
See,
Our next question
saw the
says, if you just saw the face,
face,
would you be able to
you'd be able to
distinguish if it's
distinguish.
male
Well,
or
if a
female?
male generally has a brow, a high ridge here, where the females wouldn't. That's normal.
That's interesting.
So
I didn't,
yeah,
I
you
didn't
should be
think
able to
about
tell if
that.
you found the skeleton, especially.
That's amazing. The next one says,
Ron,
Ron, could Yetis have crossed the land bridge between Asia and America and evolved into Bigfoot like the ancestors of Native Americans did?
Could be. I mean, I won't say no because sure. However, the Yeti's still over there. They're still seeing them over there in the Himalayas. Up above Bhutan, National Geographic sent an expedition up there. And geneticists went up, they found some bipedal humanoid tracks in the ice and snow up there and got some eDNA out of it. And went back a year later, she came up and said it's the mitochondrial DNA is 99% human. So that also, I just think there's different types of them because there's different types of aliens been here. Many, many different types, I think, visit this planet. It's a nice planet. We should be proud of it instead of destroying it. We're a warring species. Thanks to Inil and Iki. They're the 2 would-be brothers that our Bible talks about Adam and Eve had. But
Right.
Anyway, let's see, military cloak.
I think we already kind of hit on this one, but for our audio
No, they
listeners,
can't.
I'm just going to read it out
Well, they
loud real quick.
can't.
It says, our military can
Well,
cloak and
the
be
military-
invisible. How do you think?
They do that with a
Bigfoot can do this?
blanket, though. They divert the light. Bigfoot changes his matter into energy. That's not what the military does. They got a blanket that they put over them and it diverts the light. So it's not the same at all.
Sorry, I'm still getting over a little bit of cold. I'm trying to make sure I mute myself for my coughs. But the next one says, Ron, David Polides showed a brief close-up picture, but was hard to make out the Patty ponytail. What are your thoughts?
Patty ponytail?
I never heard that.
I didn't know she had a ponytail.
Yeah, I didn't either.
She didn't have a baseball cap on. She didn't have a baseball cap on either.
All right. And then the next one says, do you think Bigfoot maybe ignored loggers out of frustration?
He doesn't ignore them. He actually shows himself around people that are cutting logs. A lot of, in fact, I got a whole, how important trees are to these beings. And if they can, well, I think there's a lot to do with trees on these. A lot of reports around people cutting trees to see these things. And yeah, I think people should be careful about this. Maybe why this portlock thing I mentioned earlier was so dismal, because they were cutting so many trees down. And these things, the trees are very, very important to this planet. And we're cutting them down right and left.
Right. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We are about at our time, but do you have any last thoughts? I think we're cutting out again.
Yeah, give him a second here.
I'm not saying Bigfoot was crossbreed.
Can you hear us, Ron?
Well, my website's ronmorehead.com, in case anybody wants to know. And my books and my CDs are all downloadable, and you can acquire them there if you want to.
Awesome. So if you want to find Ron, please make sure you check out his website, check out his books and his CDs. If you get a chance to go look up the Sierra Sounds, it's amazing listening to the calls and listening to him talk back to them. So make sure you go check that out. Ron, I want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to interview you and for hanging out with me for this last hour. To all of our listeners.
It was my pleasure. Thank you, Cristina.
Oh, yeah. And to all of our listeners, I want to say thank you for joining us. We are broadcasting from coast to coast, all around the world, and we hope you have a good evening.
Coming to a YouTube channel near you.